Hey friends, this episode is about tradwives and everything that comes with that topic. So here's a quick heads up that we'll be discussing topics like child abuse and sexual assault. If that's not something you feel like listening to today, maybe go check out another book.
I'm Rick Vieweg.
I'm Tommy Guy. I'm Andrew Corway.
And I'm Sarah Stockdale, and this is Pagenerd. Today we have a very interesting one. This is a very, very buzzy book. We're going to talk about Yesteryear by Caro Burke. So I have so much tradwife tea to spill in this first episode. So we are going to do a two-parter for Yesteryear. So this first episode will be a little bit of context setting and background on tradwives in the first half of the book. And so that means it will be spoiler-lite. We will not be spoiling any major twists in this episode. That will come in part 2. So if you are still reading, keep reading. You can listen to this episode and we will spoil a little bit more in the next one, but this one is safe. Yesteryear is about a tradwife influencer who wakes up one day in 1855. And so she's been cosplaying. She's been pretending to live in yesteryear, this kind of prairie dresses and sourdough starter life that she's created on a farm. And one day she does actually wake up in pioneer times and has to figure out how to survive. And what a pitch.
Yeah.
Like, what a phenomenal pitch for a book. Everyone wanted to buy it. Anne Hathaway has the rights to the movie. It's like really catapulted Caro Burke into incredible stardom very quickly. This is her debut novel. The book opens with the inner monologue of Natalie Heller Mills, our tradwife influencer. And this is how she introduces herself. And who is I? A flawless Christian woman, the manic pixie American dream girl of this nation's deepest, darkest fantasies. The mother every woman wanted to be and the wife every man wanted to come home to. Like a nun in a porno. It didn't make sense, but also by God it worked. My name is Natalie Heller Mills, and I was perfect at being alive.
Like a nun in a porno is a wild line, but it fits it perfectly.
How much do you guys know about tradwife influencers?
I've heard exactly one podcast about them, and then I read a book about them.
I knew nothing. I'm aware they exist and have just actively avoided this entire idea because I do not want YouTube ever recommending it back to me.
Oh, so you haven't heard ASMR bread making videos that are slightly sexual in nature somehow?
Okay, I think I knew about the sexual part. They're all hot, right? All the tradwives are hot?
No.
Oh.
No. There's definitely, there are camps, but the very successful ones are traditionally hot. Yeah.
I was very lucky I started making sourdough before the pandemic. So before it was hot content. So it was just a bunch of boring cooking dudes doing it.
Do you have a sourdough starter with a cool name?
No, it doesn't have a cool name. But it kicks ass. It's a great starter.
You need to name it. My friend Simon's is Bready Mercury, and that's a great.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Okay, so before we talk about Yesteryear, which is a book about tradwives and tradwife influencer culture, we need to really understand the cultural and internet phenomenon of tradwife influencers because it's been a thing for a minute now. I'll tell you what Caro Burke says that what tradwife means. It's short for traditional wife, which is the idea of a woman who performs subservience in every part of her life. They tend to have an absolute comical number of children, 10 to 14 children. Usually they subscribe to some sort of evangelical Christian religion or Mormonism. And the birth of kind of this tradwife influencer coincides very closely with the Trump presidency and the rise of neo-Christian fascism.
Oh, God damn it. Why? Wait, is this... So I grew up with some families that had 14 kids and went to my church.
But they didn't make content about it.
They didn't make content. They did. It's just for the church.
So there's kind of two things that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with tradwives, which is just women who are subservient to their husbands and stay in the home, which are the folks that you went to church with. And then tradwife influencers who perform domesticity for money, basically.
And this is the Trump bullshit of like, it's all an act now. There is no such thing as real life for these people.
So there are lots of women who are actual tradwives. And for this podcast, I watched this like really kind of devastating CNN interview with a bunch of former tradwives who have like deconstructed from it. And it's just like a lot of performing obedience and like squashing any part of you that wants agency or freedom. And most of them are so exhausted from constant labor that literally one of them said, I wrote this down. It made me so sad. She was like, I'm so exhausted all the time that I never even had a moment to think like, do I like this? Is this a good life? Because it was just constant labor.
It sounds kind of like working like in the Industrial Revolution, right? When there like wasn't reasonable hours to be worked and like you couldn't think about a better life because you literally were just toiling constantly.
But there's a much more pernicious thing here. Like the thing that stood out in that video, Sarah, that you shared is the voice. Like you have to talk differently.
They call it like a fawning.
Yeah.
A fawning voice. So the goal of it is to appear as non-threatening to men as possible and to appear as docile as possible. So a lot of these women adopt like a tone to their voice.
Yeah. And the tone is like, oh, it's like, it's creepy. It feels like, yes, there's the grind of the Industrial Revolution, except there's this added in part where like you need to like it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least perform as if you're liking it.
Yeah, no, I think you need to feel it. My experience, okay, I think we all know. I grew up like super religious. I went to this church. They were what you would call like non-influencer tradwives. There were I think two like sisters or cousins or something. Each of them had a shitload of kids. I don't know how many. It was a lot. And their kids have kids now. But they were true believers. I think if you asked either of the moms, if you asked any of the kids, do you like this? They're like, yeah, I'm doing God's work. I thought, okay, yes, I love this. It was startling to watch that interview, to have people sort of wake up and realize, kind of like, I woke up and realized like, no, I don't believe any of this. To wake up and realize when you're 9 kids in, like, this is not for me. That's wild.
I think there's also like, even when you're asked, do you like this? Like there's still a performance element to your answer. So even if you don't like it, you have to like it.
Do you like this or do you want to go to hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Those are your options.
Yeah. It's not a job. It's a belief system.
And they've been socialized their entire lives for this. Do you remember the girl boss era
Yes.
of feminism?
Yeah.
It was very much like when I first started working with the three of you. So this movement, this tradwife movement, is in response to that. So like in the 2010s, when I was coming up in the workforce, there was like this huge push around the era of the girl boss. We saw like mostly white, mostly wealthy women climbing corporate ladders and starting companies. And they were really telling us that we could do it all. There was this like iconic photo of Hillary Clinton wearing sunglasses on her BlackBerry on Air Force One. And it was like, she's made it.
Yeah.
Like we can have it all. We can do the kid thing. They're like just CEOs telling us to hustle our asses off. It was like very white girl feminism. It operated very firmly under capitalism. And it was basically like, be a man, like climb the corporate ladder and hustle like a man.
Sheryl Sandberg, right?
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg. Yeah, the lean in era.
Yeah. But then COVID happened and like we all realized we were like burnt the fuck out. And like every millennial woman I know who had been on this like rat race hamster wheel was like, this isn't working. Because like basically you can't outwork collective systems and structures that make individual progress impossible. Basically they were like, girl boss, your way to the sun. You can do everything yourself. Just keep working really hard. But like you can't outwork a complete lack of support and protections from others in the workforce or healthcare or childcare or like support for maternity health. Like you just like can't outwork that.
So, okay, Sarah, like I want to know about this because you were a girl boss. You started a company in your 30s. You were doing the grind. You were doing the whole thing. You have kids. And then you hit the wall.
I hit the wall before I had kids.
Okay.
So I worked with all three of these. We had a startup in 2012-ish for a few years.
2012, 2013, yeah.
It hung on a long time.
I worked at an early stage startup with Tommy and Andrew, and then I worked at another startup that sold to Airbnb in a fantastic firestorm. And I was so burnt out that like I couldn't go take a job at Airbnb that probably would have made me a millionaire. Like I was too sick and too tired, and I could not imagine my life if I were to have a kid and be working as much as I was working at startups. And that's why I started a company. I literally like saw the writing on the wall of this, like, startups are never 9 to 5. It was like 8 to 7, like grind, and was like, literally, this is not tenable. Like, I cannot keep doing this. And that's why I started a company.
Like the Sheryl Sandbergs, they were the I see what you mean now. They were the opposite of the tradwife influencers, but they're saying the same thing. You can have it all. You can do this. Ignore, we'll get to the book, ignore the staff.
Ignore the stuff.
But also, it's all on you. Like, nothing about having someone else and a support structure behind you and all the rest of it. Like, just like you do everything. It's all on you. Not like, do you have family around you that can watch your kids? Do you have a supportive partner? Like, any of these things?
Rich exemplars, they cherry pick a few examples, usually rich folks, because they have the nannies, they have the support staff, they have the daycare. But even then, it's a grind. But that's not how it's presented, especially on social media.
Well, and I think there's like that kind of anti-hustle culture. Like, we all kind of stayed home for a couple of years. A lot of women had to leave the workforce because they were at home with their kids, expected to work like their normal 9 to 5. It's just not possible. So we had this like huge exodus of women from the workforce. Then we had this like rise of this tradwife content, which had been going on. Like Ruby Franke, one of the influencers I want to talk about a little bit, she got popular in 2015. So like there was already like niche religious mommy blogger content that was coming out, but the aesthetics of it started to change in the 2020s to make it more palatable to a broader swath of women. There's 2 tradwife influencers that I want to tell you about. Do you know about Hannah Nealman, Ballerina Farm, or Ruby Franke?
I've heard of Ballerina Farm.
Caro Claire Burke, of course, like she can't come out and say like this is based off of real people or like a collection of real people. But if you look at very specifically like Hannah Nealman, who is the moniker Ballerina Farm on the internet, like the comparisons are uncanny. So the T on Hannah Nealman is that she's this ridiculously beautiful blonde woman who went to Juilliard at 17 for ballet and met David Nealman, who is the son of the billionaire founder of the JetBlue airline.
Oh.
He has $400 million.
That's money.
And she dropped out and they got married within 3 months of meeting each other, and she was pregnant within 6 months. She can't drink yet in the United States. She's pregnant by 20. She said no when he asked her out on a date. Like, she was like, I'm doing my school thing, fuck this guy kind of vibes. And then he used his dad's like JetBlue empire to get a seat next to her on a flight to New York and spent the entire time pressuring her to go on a date with him.
What the fuck?
Oh, I hate that so much.
No. Unacceptable. No.
Hey, you're trapped here.
No.
This is fun.
No, that is gross.
Yikes.
What?
Yeah.
So now they're married.
Yeah.
No.
The book didn't quite go that far, but it sucks when the truth is worse than what they've made up.
It's really bad. And she wanted to finish her degree, and he basically pressured her to drop out of school and marry him within 3 months and then get pregnant. So she never got to be a ballerina, which is why her Instagram and her farm is called Ballerina Farm.
Oh, that is so dark.
That was her dream. She wanted to be a New York ballerina.
What's her background? Was she LDS before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's LDS before, LDS now. They have a huge farm in the Utah mountains called Ballerina Farm, which I think this is like loosely based off of.
Definitely seems that way.
Other than the creepy airline part, this all lines up so far.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a Times of London expose interview of them where there was like breadcrumbs of like creepy shit in this relationship. One of the things is like all this woman loves to do is dance, and they have this like multi-million-dollar farm, and there's like nowhere for her to dance on the farm. The place that she was supposed to dance, they turned it into a schoolroom. Like, she does not have a space to dance. For her birthday, she desperately wanted to go to Greece, and they filmed this video where she's expecting her husband to give her this trip to Greece. His family is $400 million. They can go to Greece.
They own an airline. Airplanes go to Greece. What?
Airplanes do go to Greece. I checked recently.
Hold on. They were like producing something that is, I would like to go to Greece, and like husband didn't catch on?
He gave her an egg apron.
No.
In the video. She thinks she's opening a trip to Greece and she opens a fucking egg apron.
And then did she have to just like it?
Yeah.
Were the eggs cute or were they just like regular eggs?
It was an apron for like putting eggs in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Andrew didn't know about the egg apron.
I assumed a pattern, not.
Me too. I was hoping cute little eggs on it.
No, it's like a work apron.
Yeah.
I'm so mad right now. And I'm also like, if I had chickens, I would get one of those.
I'm just thinking, like, can I get one and wear it around the house when I want to eat some eggs and don't want to carry them around, you know?
It would look
Yeah, I'd look
adorable. 100%.
The amount of times I would smush that against the counter by accident and end up with like egg goop all over my body.
Yeah. Scrambled, not boiled.
I hate this fantasy so much.
Sorry, guys.
Hold on.
Back.
No. So this is sadistic.
Yeah, it's sadistic.
It is.
We should clarify that she did eventually get to go to Greece. I don't know if she like wore her egg apron there, but she did go, right?
I guess so. Like after the backlash, the social backlash, that dude had to take his wife to Greece. There was really no option where he could maintain his Hogfather status online.
Hogfather.
He had to continue Hogfathering. So I guess they went to Greece, but
Shamed into satisfying his wife.
We've all been there.
I haven't.
Fine.
Fair enough, Sarah. Fair enough.
We're shouting out our favorite libraries and bookstores. So today's episode is brought to you by Third Place Books. Third Place Books is, I think there's actually a chain of these in the Seattle area.
We've already done Third Place Books.
Not this one. We've already done some other Third Place Books. Now I'm going to tell you about the Third Place Books in Ravenna. Let me tell you what I learned. Go on a date to a bookstore. This one is the correct distance from my house to bike there. It's a nice bike ride. You can go with your partner. You can look for books. Danielle bought some murder, mystery, true crime thing that I'm not going to read, but I'm happy for her. But the cool thing about Third Place Books is it's also a bar. So we had a nice glass of wine and a Greek dinner in a bookstore. Highly recommend if you're in the Seattle area, Third Place Books in Ravenna.
Her content, she's pretty silent in it. Like she doesn't speak. And in Yesteryear, at one point, Natalie says, like, I realized they didn't want to hear me speak. They just wanted to see me. And that was like so reminiscent of Ballerina Farm's content because she'll just set up the camera and then just like silently make bread. And so you kind of get a little bit of the ASMR. The kids come in and like hang off her. She has 9 kids, but she doesn't speak. I actually didn't know what her voice sounded like. Like I'd been kind of like aware of her content for years and I had I'd never heard her voice before.
I can't. Do you put it on in the background? I don't know how I'd find that engaging.
You can't look away.
Yeah. It's oddly soothing.
Yeah.
It's like meditation.
I feel like this is for people that aren't me, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Good for you, Rick.
The whole time she's in this like perfectly chaotic kitchen, she's standing in front of a $35,000 stove that needs to be professionally installed by one man who can do it in the US. Like there's one dude who can install the stove.
What happens if that guy dies? No more stoves.
No more stoves.
Does he have an apprentice?
The stoves are fucked, dude. I don't know. But like one other very like interesting kind of piece of Ballerina Farm lore is she competed in a Mrs. America pageant 12 days after giving birth to her 8th child. Still bleeding.
Wow.
She's not allowed to use birth control. So as part of the church, like there's and she said like, I guess we'll have as many kids as God decides, and he hasn't decided to stop yet.
Cool. Just have a kid for 2 decades.
And they say they don't have nannies. And this is like, this gets to the part in Yesteryear where like the help is hidden from the audience. They say they only have babysitters for date night and like a school teacher because they homeschool all their kids, of course. But like, I don't know if you've ever tried to like hang out with any kids and do any work, but 9 and be a full-time influencer with like a dynasty. Like now they sell raw milk, they sell sourdough starter. They've turned this into a multi-million-dollar operation. I think it made $70 million last year.
What?
Their farm.
That's a lot of raw milk.
And they did have an E. coli outbreak in the raw milk because, of course, they did.
Oh, no.
You shouldn't be drinking that.
Don't drink poop.
Louis Pasteur invented this thing. It's not like voodoo. It's just if you heat it up a little bit, it kills the bad things. That's all it is.
Yeah, but we can't do that.
And they're like, no, Big Milk doesn't want you to know. Come on. Why is this the thing?
Yeah, there's so many things that are upsetting.
Sorry, I'm going to rant a lot. Okay, but the children thing, the families I knew that had that many kids, there is this aspect, where the older kids raise the younger kids. It was like a buddy system. They pull up in this like the biggest van you've ever seen to church, and like all the big kids have a little kid that they're minding.
So this is actually like an interesting piece of the book that we'll talk about too as a theme, is like the parentification of children. And
Yes.
like, is that a form of child abuse to expect an 8-year-old to change diapers, to expect an 8-year-old to wake up at 4 a.m. with their sibling? And they look at big families and the leisure time between little boys and girls who are raised in large families. And it's, as you would expect, like way over indexes on like the girls become parent figures and the boys continue to have a childhood. So it starts so young that you are like subservient to the men, including the older brothers in the family, and you are training to be a domestic servant basically for the rest of your life.
But also, that's the only thing that they'd be expected to do in their society, right? Is like to become a mom and have a bunch of kids. That's your only job, right?
When you were on a farm in 1855, like kind of yes, like everybody had to pitch in to stay alive. And now they've kind of fetishized that.
I found this like a big theme that struck me in this book was about authenticity, or more accurately, inauthenticity, because there's not a lot of authenticity in this book. Like people that are playing at running a farm, but clearly have no idea or really don't want to do that, right? In the book, the husband doesn't want to be a farmer. He wants to be a kindergarten teacher. I feel like that's a massive theme. And what are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do in this, the dynamic of this tradwife lifestyle and how that it messes you up, right? That you're not allowed to be your authentic self.
There's another influencer that it's based on, and I think both of them, there's like this performance of motherhood and performance of marriage and like domestic bliss. So Ruby Franke was the like Mormon mommy blogger in the 2010s. She had a really popular YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. And she's in prison for 30 years right now for like horrific child abuse. Yeah, like horrific child abuse. So she surveilled her kids their entire life for the YouTube channel. Like every major milestone, these kids, like she stuck a camera in the face of her daughter when she got her period at 11. And then in the background, she was like a terrifying, militant mother and would like, her followers actually started like calling CPS because they started seeing her kind of become more and more abusive over the span of her channel.
Well, you could see the cycle. As soon as the content starts performing, you're going to keep getting further and further down the rabbit hole, right? Like that's what the social media is meant to do, is just like when something starts working, go hard on it.
So one of her kids, when they were 6 years old, went to school without lunch. And she filmed a video about this. Like the school called and was like, your kid doesn't have anything to eat. And she gets on YouTube and says, like, I hope no one gives her lunch because she needs to learn to like pack her lunch and bring it to school. And I like 6-year-olds can't do that.
I mean, they can pack their own lunch, but they're not like on the hook and accountable for it. Like that's not at the end of the day. If you don't do it, you'll starve. Like that's
Skittles.
She used starvation, extreme heat, forced outdoor labor, denial of food and water. She bound her kids with ropes and duct tape and then put cayenne pepper and honey on their wounds. Like she was extremely abusive. The cops knocked down her door. She's in prison with Jody Hildebrandt, who is like her co-conspirator for a lot of this. And they're in prison in Utah. You see the influences of these two like big tradwife influencers as you're reading Yesteryear.
Okay, a theme for this book that I kept toying with is, what does Natalie believe? Is she like a true believer who's trying to find a way to square her ambition with her belief system?
To me, it feels like she's performing authenticity and it's kind of a fake it until you make it. Like, it sounds like she really wants to believe this is the authentic self, but you hear that little voice come into her head where it's like, and I'm just, like you said, calling herself a nun in a porno. You wouldn't have that thought if you genuinely thought that what you were doing was not being a nun in a porno.
But the way she presents herself on the first pages is the way she wants you to see her. It's later when she's trying to find, I remember doing this, try to find a way to square what you're thinking and what you're feeling with what you should believe. And you find a trick. And her trick was pretend somebody is watching. It got out of hand. But I like this woman, Ruby, is like a psychopath. What was that progression? Was she a psychopath that used religion? Or was she a religious person that let it go off the rails?
Right. Did success break her or something?
Yeah. What was it success? Was she abusing her kids because she truly believed that is what God wanted? Or because YouTube sent her eyeballs when she did it?
I think she was predisposed to abuse her kids. So one of the themes in Yesteryear that comes up when I'm reading about Ruby Franke is like just this expectation that you're going to be a mom to a shitload of kids. Whether or not that's actually something that you understand what that is or that you actually want that. Like it sounds like when I'm reading these books, like these women are so overstimulated, they're disassociated from their kids, they lack any sort of maternal connection to them. These are probably women who just shouldn't have had kids. So you have this like really entrenched gender role of like, you must do this prescribed thing that is extremely fucking hard and life-threatening and like very overstimulating. And some people just like, if you don't want to have kids, don't have kids because it's really fucking hard. And they have tons of them.
But like you said, there's no other option. Like their entire society is based around this. You had to have no one left in the world if you exited that expectation. And that would be incredibly challenging.
That's the role that you are brought up to serve. And even in the, like, Natalie Heller Mills in the book says, like, I never really thought about whether or not I wanted this. When she's pregnant with her first kid, she's like, God will step in and make this stop. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not ready. And there was like never a conversation that she had in her inner monologue or with anyone else about like, do I want to have kids?
Yeah, and the thing is, this sort of mental health trauma happens all over the world in all different walks of life. The difference is right here, you've got 9 dependent kids that if you're under mental health distress, you're impacting those people directly and they are entirely dependent on you.
Well, and then like with Ruby Franke and also with Natalie Heller Mills in the book, like you put a camera in front of this person and have a whole bunch of people in the comments telling you you're a wonderful mother because you're performing perfect motherhood in front of the camera, and behind the camera, you're an abusive asshole. You've now got all of this like validation that what you're doing is right, even if they're not seeing the horrible things that you're doing.
I think, okay, this is maybe like this is what I've been like toying, like to understand this kind of religion, you must understand that they literally believe that it is true. They believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. They believe that if you die, you will go to hell forever, right? They really believe that. So setting up a surveillance state for yourself, you're opting in. Because if you literally believe that you're flawed and you're going to go to hell if you don't believe, of course, like they're overt about it. You're setting up accountability with your friends. You're setting these things up to do the thing that you believe you should do.
So do we think generally that she is a believer? There's moments later in the book where she's talking to God. So
I think she remains a believer. And I think that the entire tradwife Instagram thing is this perfect solution to the problems she has of a weak husband, a lack of direction. She's like, God has given me a way to be the person that I should be, that I believe I should be, despite my ambition and despite my sort of rage.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what happens to this book. So we start the book at Yesteryear Ranch. It's a sprawling farm that Natalie runs with her husband, Caleb, who we learn is the last child of like this mega wealthy American family who are a political dynasty. His father, Doug, who's a hilarious character, is a senator who's like perpetually trying to run for president and failing. And like, I think has like really white teeth and is always wearing an ironed polo. That's how I pictured him.
I have a take. This is Ronald Reagan.
Oh my
if Ronald
God.
Reagan did not win the presidency, this is Ronald Reagan. His son wants to be a cowboy and an actor. Ronald Reagan was an actor who played cowboys.
Oh my gosh.
Like they want to be Ronald Reagan.
Oh, and I did picture like very tan.
Yeah. I also kind of pictured the dad is like H.W. Bush. We do get the sense that this is a powerful man. He's well connected. He's in politics. He's, senator, right? He's doing the thing. He just hasn't had that last step.
When the family members have a problem, they talk to dad.
Yes, dad solves it.
He is the fixer.
The father figure, as Taylor Swift would say.
And his fuck up son is George W. Bush.
Oh, and she married George W.
She married W.
Yeah. So they live on a multi-million-dollar farm called Yesteryear. It's architected like a time machine with all the modern day comforts. Like the microwave is like hidden away. It looks like it's old-timey, but like it has all the modern comforts of a multi-million-dollar farm.
Well, importantly, they went and bought this like recently renovated place and then re-renovated it to hide all of the very expensive machines behind walls. And then like they talk to these architects, they're like, it's crazy that you want to tear this place up. Like it's all new. And they're like, no, I'm not working with you. They find the one guy that's just like, yes, we'll do it. Yes.
Give me the money. I'll hide your washing machine. Sure.
He literally says, like, do you want indoor toilets or do you want an outhouse? And she was like horrified. She's like, of course we want indoor toilets.
Just like, hide them.
But that was the final line where she's like, this guy's got it. He gets it. He's asking all the stupid questions.
In the opening, we also meet all of her kids. So Clementine, Stetson, Jessa, Samuel, and Junebug. Incredible tradwife influencer names.
Stetson. That's a hat.
Oh, it is a hat. Yeah.
Cowboy hat.
That's perfect. She's also 5 months pregnant with their 6th child. So she's like, she's doing the thing. We also meet the help, which are like off camera, behind the scenes. Nanny Louise, Nanny Amy, and producer Shannon. And then we learn that her audience has no idea she has all this help. Her inner monologue is like justifying this, almost like she's in a Q&A with an audience. And she's like, it's to preserve their privacy. Like, but it's the like, she's cosplaying that like she's doing all this work.
Caro Claire Burke wrote this. So each chapter isn't like a chapter. It's a bunch of small passages that comprise a chapter. So you kind of hop around inner monologue, external force. So it's really easy to slip in clues and fun things like that as an author, because you kind of read it. We read sequentially, of course, right? Like, so you kind of get this this kind of fun play that she has. And of course, she's a phenomenal writer. Like everything's so vivid. But yeah, I think that's like ambiguous. Like what's inner monologue, what's not.
It's a really good point, because like her whole life is what's inner monologue and what's not, what's performance. And then the book is also, it's sometimes hard to tell.
When you are editing your life, like it'd be very difficult to make critical decisions about what you say and how you say it if you're used to being able to cut it however you want for the broad populace, right?
On this farm, there are also ranch hands who are also described as men they picked up at Home Depot. So this is a horrible way of describing the undocumented immigrants that just run the farm, that like actually do all of the hard labor and the hard work.
And actually know how to do it.
Yes.
Like nobody else has any idea how to run the farm.
They just like keep killing cows until they hire help, because there's some pretty terrible animal abuse stuff going on at this farm too, because these people don't know what they're doing.
They talk about the dad learning everything on forums. And like when he actually went to the actual farm forums, people are like, no, you can't do this. Like this is animal abuse. And he's like, but then I found this other forum where people are like, we're all just trying to make it, dude.
I found the forum for people that haven't farmed, and they said it's okay.
Exactly.
Lack of education is a big, big theme in this, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it just goes to show you anything that you want an echo chamber for on the internet, you can find it.
Oh,
there are
yeah.
so many people out there that will let you slide right into there and say, whatever bad decisions you're making, they're good decisions.
Even in the first little while, like you start to see kind of the cracks. She mentions that she doesn't really focus on the differences between the kids, that they're just like an array of neutral colors in like 100% cotton. And like she doesn't really tell the differences between her own children. At one point, the 2 boys are fighting and she says, don't worry, you can both use the nail gun.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Oh.
They're how old? Like 9 or something?
That's too young for a nail gun,
That's
Tommy.
too young for a nail gun.
I think I might have grown up in a different era.
Depends on the nail gun.
I don't think it depends on the nail gun.
This is why I shouldn't be a parent. I was like, yeah.
What is it? Air pressure? Is it just like one of those staple guns?
That's the dangerous like cosplay
Yes.
aspect of this whole thing. Like I didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up in the sticks. By 9, I could carry a gun alone into the woods.
Don't like that.
Maybe, 10.
Pass.
But like, come on. And that's like, I say that now and I'm like, living in Seattle, I'm like, that's crazy. But it wasn't. And that's why I was like, this is finally my nail gun. And my dad was very careful to teach me exactly what to do and not to do.
It doesn't seem like Caleb is that kind of dad.
He is not.
And we also see that, like, the help is just taking care of everything. Like, she is not really engaging with, like, parenting at all.
She gets actively upset when she has to engage with it.
She's like, they came back 15 minutes early. Like, what are these nannies good for? Like, it's pretty. Her inner monologue is, I heard some people say that they didn't like this book because she's so unlikable. And, like, I loved it. Like, I love an unreliable narrator. I love unlikable women. And I vibed so hard with how this woman was written. Do I want to be friends with her, or do I think she should be anywhere but prison? Like, no, of course, she's terrible. But I understood her, and I think that's good writing.
For the first third of this book, I liked her.
Oh, you did?
I did.
That's terrifying.
Jesus. Why?
No, I did. Like is identifies the wrong word too. She's made a lot of horrible decisions, but I was still sympathetic to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended the book sympathetic. I think she's mentally unwell.
Immediately, you're like, oh, this is a weird narcissist. She literally says, I'm perfect at being alive on the first page.
Yes.
I think it's breadcrumb and very, like, you can see how she got from this spot to every different point in the book. Like, every time you see Natalie, you're like, oh, I see how she got here. Aside from, like, weird time jump stuff. I see how she got here. Like, I see where she started, and then this decision happened, and then that decision happened, and then this one. Like, at no point is it like, oh, this is totally off the rails. She gets from A to B in, like, a way that can be logical.
She was dealt a bad hand. She was brought up in a religious background that is pretty bad. So was I. She married the wrong guy early because she thought she had to. And the next set of decisions that she made were her saying, I will take charge. And it went to a bad place. But that impulse of, like, it's on me now, I'll do it, I wanted her to succeed.
Yeah, but the tricky thing is she was in no way set up to succeed. Like, that's the shitty part, is, like, she decides she's going to take charge. She decides she's going to make the decisions.
And she's a strong woman.
Absolutely. She does take charge. She actively sets them on a path that could be a good one. And just, there's no one there to support her aside from Doug, who, like, you call in case of emergency.
Doug looks her in the eye and sees power. And oh man, that scene where, like, they're both, like, mind meld about, like, oh, we're the two people that can get shit done, and it's also, like, vaguely sexual.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Is this hot or not? I can't tell.
Ew, yucky.
No, not hot. In the first chapter, we're also introduced to the angry women, capital A, capital W, who are very important to the story. They're the ones who call her a tradwife or a breeder on the internet. And she says, these women were not sane, nor were they happy, nor were they big believers in personal accountability. Women like Vanessa, which is just this woman she used to go to school with, she sees in a Target, with their latex foreheads and their I'm with her bumper stickers, they didn't know what they wanted. They couldn't possess a truly principled stance if someone injected it straight into their face.
And see, that definitely coincides with what you were saying earlier about, like, how tradwife is a response to that girl boss thing. Like, this is a direct one-to-one. Like, here's someone that was raised on the girl boss thing. I'm responding actively to that by going the opposite direction.
She talks about these angry women all throughout the book. And, like, this is a woman who's so full of fucking rage. She is seething at the seams in every chapter. She literally, right after she says this, calls them cunts and then apologizes to God. She's so angry from chapter 1.
But like you said, with describing it as a angry and capital W woman, like, it is not that they are angry. It is that angry women is the way that the label she's made for these sorts of people, right? So she's not with them. They are other. They are labeled as angry women.
We're also breadcrumbed early that something awful has happened at Yesteryear and that Caleb has been having an affair. And she, at the first, she's like musing that she's going to fix it. She's like, these men marry women who become their crisis managers. Like, I'm going to clean up this mess. And we have, like, a vague idea that the mess is an affair, but we don't know exactly what happened. Then she wakes up in the past. So she wakes up on a freezing cold day. She doesn't recognize her quilt. It's thin. She's cold. Her house is still her house, but it's not. There's no overhead lights. There's a fire in the kitchen fireplace that was non-functional before. And when she sees her kids, they're not her kids. It's like an uncanny valley thing. Her kids are replaced with imposters. We meet different kids. Mary, the eldest daughter, who has like absolutely no time for the fact that Natalie doesn't know who she is or where she is. And then Maeve, a sweeter younger daughter. And there are two other boys that we meet later. But the kids are calling her mama. So they think this is their mother. And she's in this like freezing cold version of her house that she doesn't recognize.
She like sees echoes of her kids in these kids, right? It's not just like that she's in a totally different place. Like you said, there are echoes of her life.
And then she finds carvings in the threshold of the front door labeling her kids' heights. And the final one says Mama 1855. This tradwife influencer has actually woken up in pioneer times. And we are getting these alternating chapters of, it's kind of confusing because it's like her past and then she's in the past. So there's like the present, which is the past, 1855, and then her background. So she sees her husband, and it's actually Caleb, but he's older. And he's not like silly, dumb Caleb. He's like cold, mean Caleb. And so she calls him old Caleb.
Yeah.
She tries to run away immediately, and she falls down, and then he slaps her unconscious. So immediately we're getting some scary domestic violence in 1855.
And at that point in the book, all we know about Caleb is that something bad happened. He had an affair.
He was dopey too. So this Caleb's like dark. He chased her. He's abusive.
Well, but in the beginning, he wasn't. He was Mr. Cowboy who comes up and sweeps her off her feet for the cameras.
So in the first chapter, though, she says she's praying, and she says, God, give my husband a spine so he'll stop borrowing mine.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's a real ball of clay. I remember one time Andrew used the term potato dad, and this, I think, describes Caleb very effectively, where it's just like a potato.
Oh, I have. So Ballerina Farm's husband in real life has his own Instagram, and the handle is the Hogfather.
Nope.
Cool.
Why?
Yeah, I want to know why. Thank you.
Godfather, they raise pigs.
They have pigs, I guess. Yeah.
I think if I had a fake farm, I wouldn't do pigs. Pigs are fun, but I don't know, man.
Not pig as livestock. Pig as cool companion. Now I'm into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go from back in the past to Natalie's past. So we kind of get treated to some of her backstory. These are my favorite chapters. I love like seeing how this woman was made in the world.
Right. This is like Natalie's origin story.
Her like villain origin story.
Yeah.
This is how this person was forged. And you're like, I want all of it.
Yes.
She is someone who would be forged.
Every fold you make in the blade.
So we learned she went to Harvard at 17. She's like a hardcore evangelical Christian from a small mountain town. Her sister Abigail is staying in their hometown to marry Bryce, who she just says is a man with a bad temper. And we're like, oh, this girl's not going to be in a good situation.
Nope.
She has a roommate, Rena, who's like a normal modern university student who's like drinking and hooking up. And Natalie immediately fucking hates her guts, like right out of the gate.
I mean, they also are dorm roommates. It's either you hate them or you love them. There's really no in between.
On the very first night they're living together, she brings home a boy and hooks up with him in the room while Natalie is trying to sleep, which is like very common, but gross.
On the first day.
On the first day.
Yeah, first day.
And like, it's an interesting interaction because to me, it was clear that like Rena's not having a good time. This like hookup encounter is not going well. She says she doesn't like things. She tells the guy she feels sick. But then, like, she kind of relents and the hookup continues. And then she overhears, like, Natalie overhears Rena describing the guy as a predator. And Natalie's like, these fucking angry women always trying to bring men down. Like, I was there. He's not a predator. And I'm like, I kind of heard the predator stuff.
This is where she kind of forges the term angry women.
Pro tip, if you're hooking up with somebody and they say, I feel sick, stop.
Yeah.
Just don't, like, stop.
That's a clear red flag.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
This was where I started to realize what she's saying and what's happening is so filtered through her worldview. I don't think she's reliable. I think that's what I started to clue in. So, yeah, I felt really smug. I feel like figured the book out, but like this was like started some of the breadcrumbing that I started to like, oh, okay. Now I know to be a little skeptical of Natalie here.
I don't know. I still keep coming back to this because I don't know. Like, she's unreliable, but I think sometimes she's reliable to herself. She's in on it, and sometimes she's not. And I just kept coming back to this tension. And I think it really just comes from the fact I think she's a true believer.
That's so interesting because, like, I don't. There's like this interesting tension. And like I've read reviews of this book that criticize the fact that they don't say like what denomination she is, that they don't like, she's never really like reciting scripture. Like it's not like religious enough.
Those people grew up in the wrong area. You're non-denominational.
And I was like, I think that's the point. Like, I think the point is that she is vaguely evangelically Christian and not specifically religious. She talks to God, but almost as like her first audience member, not necessarily as like a deity. She's like constantly apologizing and surveilling herself through the lens of religion, but I don't think she's truly religious.
The idea of God as the first audience member is crazy.
I can see some shitty youth pastor saying that line. I can picture that happening in my brain.
For sure.
Her mom says it later. Like her mom says basically that later.
But like in real life, that's like, man, that's like so like evangelical Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're performing. Your life is a performance for God. Do it right, or else you go to hell.
God made you and he wants to watch you dance.
I'm putting on my woke feminist hat for a second, but like, this is such a necessity of the patriarchy.
Yes.
Like you need women to surveil themselves and to surveil each other and to police themselves and each other in order for patriarchy to hold up.
My family on my mom's side grew up Brethren. So they were religious types. For me, that is true belief, right? Like the faith of like you are being watched and you believe it.
Yeah.
The whole kicker there is that's where morality comes from, God's judgment. So for me, when I was growing up, when we had like a family gathering, people would say something like, you say something like, oh, I believe I can do that. Let's imagine you going out for a track meet or something like that, right? Like, okay, I'm practicing. I believe in myself, my ability, whatever. And they'd always correct me. They'd be like, no, you don't believe in yourself. What does that mean? No, you have faith. You pray to God that God gives you that opportunity, right? Like, so the belief in yourself is irrelevant because actually everything's determined by God's will. So the ever presence of somebody watching you, God, which I think Caro Claire Burke, like it's clever how she's like tying that to social media and the constant adoration that you get. But that's really, really key because that's where morality comes from, right? You hear this all the time. We're like, oh, you don't believe in God, so you must be a sinner. You must be like immoral and just like killing people. And, they can't constitute that there are inherent things that people find immoral, murder. Mm-hmm. There's things that like we just know are wrong. So I feel like, Tommy, you're asking the question, like, is that authentic? Or did she believe it? I think she did believe it. She was living herself like under this surveillance state, but that's the problem, right? I think she also had in her a strength of power, a force of will, and it came out in negative ways, twisted through this system that she was put in. And I think that's why she started to have these internal breakdowns of like her power and anger. You mentioned Doug earlier, where Doug saw her power. I think he saw her power and was like, I can use that.
It was a way of like, he always had to take care of his son. And like, this woman was now going to do it for him.
So we're back in this terrible dorm room. And Rena becomes like a theme throughout. So like we got to talk about her a little bit. There's finally an altercation where Natalie is like really cruel to Rena. Like she clocks her shit and is horribly cruel. And the worst part is that she says like, Rena, this guy that she hooked up with was not a predator. If anything, Rena begged for it, which is a crazy thing to say to someone who may have experienced sexual assault or abuse. And then Rena attacks her and she's like, all of a sudden her fingers were in my hair and like she punched her and knocked her out. And then Natalie gets her own room and she's like, amazing, it worked. This was so successful. And you're like, you're a sociopath. This is wild. And this kind of this piece of her college life ends with like, she's living in her own room, but she's not doing well. She's watching a lot of reality TV and not showering. And finally, like another Christian girl who she calls like the dumb girls. This woman does not like other women. Like this woman hates every woman in her life
really?
And like who comes across her. So she gets invited to Bible study by one of the dumb girls. Kind of we start to see these like themes of mental health because this girl, and this is like a very like reminded me very much of like Christian Concern. She's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? You look awful. Like, you look tired. Your hair is greasy. There's dark circles under your eyes. Like, I'm really worried about you. And it's kind of almost this like faux concern for this person that she doesn't really know very well. And then like immediately Natalie starts bawling and is like sobbing into this woman's shoulder. And that's how she ends up at this like Bible study in a basement at Harvard where she meets Caleb for the first time.
Hey friends, I want to tell you about a different podcast that we like. It's called The Secret Life of Books. It covers books you wish you read. My favorite episode is the Canterbury Tales, which I super did not read. There's a new episode every Tuesday, and you can read along with them by joining their book club. Take a listen. We think you'll like it.
Is Wuthering Heights really a love story?
Should you be afraid of Virginia Woolf?
And most importantly, is Mr. Darcy handsome enough to tempt you?
This is The Secret Life of Books.
I'm Sophie G, academic and writer.
And I'm John T. Claypole, broadcaster and producer.
In this podcast, we tell the story behind the story of the literary classics everybody wants to read, feels they should read, or has already read and loved.
We reveal the secret histories, hidden players, and big ideas behind the great books.
We show how they came into being, why they matter, and how they changed the world.
The deeper we go, the weirder the questions. Is George Orwell's 1984 on some level a comedy? Is Dracula the Freddie Mercury of horror? And why do so many literary honeymoons go wrong?
Whether you're a committed book nerd or just curious about the history of ideas, The Secret Life of Books is the podcast for you.
We're back in 1855. Natalie is doing like back-breaking pioneer labor and she hates her life and she's like trying to figure out how the fuck to get away. She thinks that she's been kidnapped at this point. And so she runs into the woods straight into a bear trap that like clamps down on her ankle. And Mary has to use a needle and thread with no anesthetic to like stitch up this like horrible, gnarly wound. And so at this point, she thinks she's been kidnapped. She thinks she's on a reality TV show, but it's like, how would you let this happen to someone on a reality TV show? This is like so incredibly violent. And at one point she says like, I remembered that America hates women. And like, that made me feel better. Cause like, maybe they would let this happen to me. Maybe this is like a Truman Show style thing.
Yeah. Mary here is like the adult that takes care of everyone, right? She's cooking dinner. She's kneading bread. She's helping her mother heal her ankle. But she's also very like, she is very maternal with her mother, but like crass, right? Like, no, eat your vegetables, do your work, come over here. At one point, Mary's like asking her to get something in the cabin or the farmhouse, I guess, to make her walk across the thing. And I think Natalie is like mad. Oh, she's just toying with me. I actually think Mary was helping her get up and walk around. That's what I think was going on here. So like they have this like this young woman who's just like taking care of business.
She's a kid. She's a kid. 13, 14. Yeah. She's a child.
Yeah.
But she's been fully parentified.
And Natalie's behavior is distressing her. Like, she's like, I shouldn't have to do this.
And you like see the labor gender roles play out with the kids too. It's like Mary is doing all of this hard labor. Like she's baking the bread, she's getting the wood, she's collecting the eggs, she's doing this horrible laundry in freezing cold water. And the boys are like playing outside and like helping fix a fence. And like the girls are really responsible for the bulk of the labor on the farm. And it's violent. Like this isn't like some fun back in time situation. Like she's doing hard labor, she's freezing cold, she's dirty all the time. Like it's miserable. And it's gonna get worse. Anyway, we're back at Harvard now. She meets Caleb. She tells him this like fever dream that she wants to have a big family on a farm. She doesn't actually want that. She just thinks that like every Christian girl wants that. And so it's like a good thing to say. She figures out that Caleb is what she calls capital R rich. And they discuss marriage on the third date and get engaged immediately. She's hung out with this guy like 3 times and they're engaged. They get married, this like big fancy wedding. She's got a 4-carat ring on her finger and they're both virgins. And the sex is very, very bad.
He talks a big game.
He says, I can't wait to taste you, which is so gross. And then they can't get it up. She said, I felt like I needed to throw a dish towel over his penis and wait for an hour to let it rise.
Oh.
Oh.
When he's just the throughout the book, the like in always flaccidness of Caleb. He's just a loser.
Yeah, he's got flaccid penis energy.
There's a scene here that stuck out to me around this time they go out to dinner and she's getting to know him, maybe date 3 or something like that. She confides in him like she would like, talking about their futures. Trying to like, you talk about that. A little fast for the third date or second date, but
not in these communities. You're right on time.
Not in these communities. I really liked the embodiment of Caleb as like this kind of loaf who had it all, because she goes, a conversation about the future. I want to have a farm in the rural nowhere. I want to have this. She's someone who kind of knows what she wants. And she asks him, what do you want to do about the future? He kind of shrugs sheepishly and says, I don't know. What you said sounds kind of nice. Initially, when you read the scene, you could read that as like, oh, he's like, they're compatible because he likes what she said. But actually, when you think about, like, from me personally, I feel like there's a point after high school or in high school where so many guys just like lose their intellectual curiosity. They don't think they have a responsibility to the community or a responsibility to join a conversation or to just go in the corner and watch sports while people are having to, and maybe that their only value is to get a paycheck. And I think and Caleb doesn't even have that problem, right? So Caleb doesn't have anything. He's hollow. He's like a husk of a person. So you might think that's like, oh, we want the same things, but actually it's really, really telling. And I think a really good embodiment of a lot of guys, especially the ones who are not intellectually curious. They don't read, they don't value education. For me, it stirred up the banality of evil. There's a quote by philosopher Hannah Arendt, and she famously observed that the greatest atrocities in history were not committed by sociopaths, but uninspired, bureaucratic individuals who simply followed orders. This banality of evil thrives when people surrender their critical thought to established systems, dogmatic systems. So I look at Caleb and I was like instantly like, oh shit, this is like, you think he's like kind of he's a victim as much as Natalie in this. Not as much because he's a man, but like to me that does encapsulate a lot of the challenges that I see with young dudes these days, which it's like they don't necessarily value education. They go into this hustle culture that we talked earlier. You get on the YouTubes and you see Vaynerchuk talking about dropping out of school and you don't need to this, you don't need to that. And it's really seductive, right? The social media. But essentially what you are is you're sliding into that banality of evil because you're losing the agency you have over your life as a young man, right? And I saw that in Caleb almost immediately on this date. And I was like, oh, wow. Natalie, you should run.
I do like that the book notes the overlapping rise of like the manosphere and tradwife.
Mm-hmm. Caleb gets into the manosphere pretty early. It's actually, I wouldn't say it's Natalie's fault, but she directs him to it. We're stepping a little bit ahead now, but we're talking about Caleb. So Caleb has at one point later in the book an ambition to be a kindergarten teacher. It's such an important part of the book. It's funny. I listened to the New York Times book review talking about this, and they said that it was like played for laughs, like that he wants to be a kindergarten teacher. And in some ways it was, but I think it was actually played as like a mini tragedy within this story.
Yeah.
Because you get this moment where this guy who has no ambition, no drive, like no real desires or motivations, comes up with this thing that like he actually really loves. Like he loves playing with the children. He loves being around children. And Natalie is like, oh shit, he would be really good at that. That's scary. He has to conform to his gender role. She says, a substitute kindergarten teaching job was the professional version of a fully flaccid penis. Humiliation incarnate, but a real-life cowboy, that's something I can work with. So she directs him away from this passion that he has, and she does it by pointing him to the manosphere, which sucks.
I thought this was pure tragedy. Beneath just like the humor of the fully flaccid penis thing, like, yeah, it is the like you have to play the man. And I don't know. I thought this was super sad. And the fact that everyone throughout this man's entire life, somebody else is pulling the strings. And his dad like looks Natalie in the eye and is like, your turn. Basically, here's the strings. You pull them for a while.
He was so authentically curious about being a kindergarten teacher too.
Yeah.
And he would be good at it. And like, but because it doesn't adhere to the standard, and it's just like, yeah, all of the curiosity, all of the, judgmentalness, all of the things that would have led to for him. Right? Just accept the more authentic living who he is. He loves kids. He doesn't love the responsibility of like raising them, but he loves playing with them and showing them the stupid facts of like, oh, fish have gills. Sure, that's Caleb's level. That's fine. He can go with that. I'm glad that they didn't dwell on it because it's very much Natalie's story, but for me, this was like, yeah, I was kind of like, no, take that job, man.
And it's tragedy for her too, because she doesn't have that like nurturing side to her at all. Like she's supposed to. She's much more like Doug. She's much more like scheming and climbing and getting them. And she's like, I literally can't do the climbing. Like, I'm a woman. I'm not allowed to do the climbing. I need you to do the fucking climbing. I need to be able to puppet you up the ladder because I'm not allowed to go up that ladder. And if you do the kindergarten teacher thing, we're both fucked because I don't have any other option. I have to stay in the house. I want to go back to one thing that I thought was important about Natalie and girl bossing. So when she's pregnant, she drops out of Harvard and she sees her old roommate, and she's got this like big diamond on her finger, and she assumes that Rena's jealous of her. And she says this, and I thought this was like such an encapsulation of how the book makes these kind of two worlds feel and seem. From here on out, Rena's life was going to be hard. She would have to work hard to get the job and work hard to keep it, and even harder to get promoted. And any promotion she would receive would lead to only more work, more responsibilities, more hours in the office. And in the meantime, she would have to squeeze out a few free hours a week to do everything else: date, stay fit, buy groceries, see friends. If she was one of the lucky ones, she would keep receiving small bumps to her salary, smaller, of course, than the bumps to her male colleagues received. But no matter. Rena would grow used to this quickly. The simple act of receiving less than she wanted at the same exact time as she watched someone else receive more than she could have hoped for. And I wrote down like, bitch, we're raging against the same machine.
Yeah, that's absolutely the trouble. Where like we both have the same problem. Stop trying to prevent me from getting somewhere, and I'll stop trying to prevent you, and we work together. But that's not the way that Natalie's built.
No, she has to put herself in opposition to the struggles of other women and be like, but I chose the better struggle. Like, I chose the more righteous struggle. But like, she clocks the struggle.
And for her defense, for a bit, it pays off for her.
Yeah. But like, Caro Claire Burke like describes what it is like to be a woman in the workforce. Yeah. You fucking clocked us. Like that hurts my feelings. Like it made me very uncomfortable and very squishy because of how real and true it is. But it doesn't, to me, I'm like, it doesn't mean that you submit to the system.
Yeah, but she has power in that structure because of with Doug, right? Like she has that power.
Yeah, giving you power to more power to the structure.
She has her first baby and immediately we're like, she has postpartum depression. She calls her baby malevolent. You're like, shit. Describing a newborn as malevolent is terrifying.
I don't think it's an entirely unique experience, though.
Not at all. No. And this tells you everything you need to know about Natalie's upbringing. When she's still in the hospital bed, she tries to confide in her mother that she doesn't think the baby's hers. The nurse is like immediately clocking postpartum depression or maybe psychosis and is like, you need to see a therapist. And her mom is like, no, go for a jog.
Oh my God.
Go for a fucking jog.
Get up out of your hospital bed and go jogging. The nurse is like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
She sneaks out. Like in a hospital gown, she puts on sneakers and tries to go for a run and then bleeds and passes out.
This reminded me of when my son was born. He was born by C-section, and my wife like tried to get up out of bed to do something and like didn't have enough pain meds, just like passed out in my arms. And it's like, she wasn't even going for a jog. She was just trying to stand out of bed. And I'm like, that would be incredibly difficult to try and do.
And then she says she can't do it. And her mother says, I know you can because you have to.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, that is the feeling of being trapped into motherhood at 20. Shortly after, when she's in like the depths of her postpartum depression, Caleb gifts her sneakers and a carrier to take the newborn on runs. The newborn whose skull has not formed yet, who has like their brain is like sloshing around inside of their head.
Also the one person that this mom wants to get away from. It's like, strap him to you. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, bad for mom, bad for baby, fine for Caleb.
It's giving the, at the start, the ballerina ranch where you want the Greek vacation and you get an eggy apron. Like just completely tone deaf.
I'm still mad about that.
She's like, I literally like realized my husband is an idiot. Like, shit,
oh, no.
fuck.
This man is a moron.
Oh my God. Yeah. So they go to live with Doug. She figures out that maybe she can make his mom try to make him productive and like goes and complains to his mom that he won't get a job. And they go to live with them in their mansion in California. And Tommy, read this part.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Can I get you both something to drink? A seltzer, a coffee? Doug chimed in. Pint of beer? Caleb's face was crumpled of fury, but he still muttered, a glass of milk would be nice. He's just so not a man in the like the classic sense. And like every little drip of stuff about him is you just like, this guy is weak.
And again, in another society, that's fine. He doesn't have to be a man, but like in this in this society that they're living in and with the roles that they've been given.
That's the tragedy, because he could be happy. Go be a kindergarten teacher. We need men to be kindergarten teachers. It's good.
Absolutely.
But he's not allowed to.
So we've nixed Caleb's substitute teacher idea, and we've decided on cowboy. There was only 3 things he wanted to be: an actor, a cowboy, or a substitute teacher. And she's like, I guess I can make cowboy work. It's got like a James Dean thing. Like, fuck, we'll try it. Or John Wayne. I don't know who any of these fucking people are.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And so she comes up with a plan. She pitches Doug to give them $5 million so that Caleb can go play cowboy while she manages the business of a farm. And in this interaction, she's like, willing to fuck Doug?
This is the part that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
This is my favorite section of the whole book in terms of the writing.
Read it.
Okay. There was a stilling in the room. My father-in-law was smiling at me in a strange way. It was a transparent look, the kind of look my husband hadn't given me since our wedding day. The look a man gives when he's imagining her naked body. This is her father-in-law. It goes on, what I had known from the very first moment I met him. Doug was a real man, effortlessly masculine. He didn't ask for power or respect or submission. He demanded it. He was the kind of man to climb up a mountain of dead bodies in the name of touching the sky. I hated him. I wanted him dead. And also, I sometimes imagine what it would feel like for a man like that to have me. Biblically, I mean. Which is another way of saying, if Doug had asked me what I thought he was going to ask me, I might have given it to him. I might have even liked it. Might have even asked, when everything was said and done, for more.
Woof.
Like, what the fuck?
I felt this scene was like she was misreading Doug, right? Like, well, reading well, but then he didn't want that of her. He wanted her power.
He didn't. It goes on for this,
right?
This gruesome, no, have kids with my kid, and she realizes that he doesn't view her as like a sexual object. He views her as a breeder, actually.
It's a tool of legacy, right? Like that's what she is to him. He needs her to make a bunch of kids that he has a legacy when he's gone.
And to put his son onto a farm and make him politically palatable and an interesting anecdote.
Yeah, make it look like he's doing a good job too.
There's 2 things that are interesting for the tradwife thing. One is she has to keep having babies and he can't get it up. So we'll figure out later how she figures that out. And the second trap is in the paperwork. So she financially agrees that Caleb's name alone is going to be on the deed to the ranch. She is going to have no ownership over this property. She's going to have no financial stake and no money. And I want to end on this quote that she says because it sets up the second half of the book perfectly. She says, an impossible thing to imagine what might happen if my husband ever paused and thought about the governing law of his own starry universe. His wife might as well have been a farm dog for all the rights she had. Even the sweetest, stupidest man can grow cruel and cunning when he learns a thing like that.
Oof.
I got goosebumps. She's putting herself into a prison financially. She's tying herself to this man who, if he ever thought about it too hard, could do whatever he wants.
Well, the thing is, she's already tied to him. She's just getting further and further down the rabbit hole, right? She doesn't know when to quit. She just keeps on doubling down.
She's in this pursuit of power while giving away all of her power.
I mean, this is her dream, right? He didn't have a dream. That your dream sounds nice. It's mine now.
But this wasn't even her dream. She said that she made it up because she thought a good Christian girl would have that dream. This is neither of their dream. They're just both entering into this crazy enterprise to keep him from becoming a kindergarten teacher, to keep them firmly in their gender roles and to keep, I guess, God and Doug happy. Fucking God and Doug.
Oh,
God damn it.
I hope Doug's happy.
Doug,
But
damn
I
it.
don't think
Doug
he'll
is
ever be
evil.
happy.
Doug will never be happy.
Doug's about to get a facelift and veneers.
Good for Doug.
When we return, we'll go into the second half, and that will be a slightly more spoiler-full version of this story. But thank you for letting me talk to you about tradwives.
And so if you haven't finished reading Yesteryear now, go and finish it before our next episode. You've got 2 weeks, folks.
Yes, please go finish it. It is so worth the time that you'll spend reading it. You'll read it in 48 hours. Before we do the credits, I'd like to shout out the wonderful person who became our very first member on Patreon. Thank you so much to Jonas Helvey. Your support means the world to us, and we promise we'll get you some bonus content soon. And in the meantime, if you would like to join Jonas and help us keep making the show, please go to patreon.com/Pagenerd.
We love you, Jonas.
We love you, Jonas. Welcome. Thank you. Woo! Woo! Jonas.
Jonas. Jonas. Jonas. Jonas. Jonas. Jonas. Jonas.
Pagenerd is Rick Vieweg, Tommy Guy, Andrew Corway, and me, Sarah Stockdale. The producer is Jay Cockburn. Next episode, we'll be reading the rest of Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. Happy reading. I'm gonna make a Freddie Mercury loaf of sourdough, and it's all from scratch, and we're gonna use raw milk.
You don't put milk in sourdough, Sarah.
Oh, fuck,
This is
I've never
absurd.
made sourdough. Fucking you. I don't do any of this shit.